Howdy YouTube folks, I thought I'd make a quick video on the truck. If you saw my short, Maggie is coming first, of course, with mechanical stuff. But my plan is to get the leaf springs done on Maggie, because that's going to be my daily. And take this truck as my learning experience to welding. So when I do tackle the welding on Maggie, I will be more advanced, because Maggie is a very sacred vehicle, as y'all know. And between Maggie and this tractor, this will be squeezed in. I don't know if it'll be this year, but I'll try my best. I definitely want to get body work. But I was assessing this truck, and I was told by forum members on a Facebook group I'm a part of, that the engine in it, because I counted the spark plugs, is a V6 305. I believe it's a 4-speed transmission, but I'd have to look at the gear shifting pattern again. But anyways, she is rough, or it is rough. No mistake about that. The rims are gone. I realize this thing is pretty rough, but this will be a good learning curve for my welding skills. I'll try to make this video as quick as possible because my battery is getting low and it's getting late. But you can see there's a whammo here in the hood, another whammo here, and another whammo here that I can see so far, maybe a little bit here. So the hood is going to need a little bit of repair. There is some flaking rot on the bottom of the hood, on the bottom of the grill, which I'm going to repair. I know most people would probably replace the grill. I thought that I won't show it because I really don't want anyone to know what county I live in, but here in Vermont, where I live, the county, I thought it was pretty cool. This is a local truck because it still has the landfill sticker on it from I don't know if you can see that, either 74 or no, 76, 1976. So that's pretty cool. That's still on there. That's got to be an early one for our landfill. I'm trying to think who my grandfather said was working at the landfill in 76. I would assume that one of our good friends who is now sadly passed away, that was good friends of the family with my grandfather for years, was very young working there, but I'm sure there were a few of the old timers of that era that my grandfather could remember that worked at the landfill in 76. Yes, the glass is bad. You can see there's a big whammo crack in the front windshield, which is a bummer. The whole back glass gone. I took this piece off that's on the other side because I was trying to figure out how to get to these, and I did. So I can soak and take this off, because if you see this whammo, this is going to be my body work special. You know, I'm going to learn my body work on this, so I'm going to try to bang this all out and fix this door. And obviously weld it the right way at the bottom where it's busted, but try to repair this door so I can make it close better on here. That's one of my first tasks, is getting that door so it can be closed up. Definitely going to be doing a frame off on this one. Right down to the helm, fresh paint. I'm really going to go all out on this one and not rattle can. It's going to be done right with a spray gun. And I have a media blaster. Same thing with Maggie on the places she needs. Even though up underneath I'd been using machinery gray primer style spray paint for the underside, but that's just because the underside on Maggie. I'm pretty sure these are not stock and they're homemade, but if anybody can tell me if these are or not. I'm thinking they're old school mounts that you could either buy or were homemade, because this had a wrecker body on it, I was told, a tow crane body. So it was basically set up as a tow truck. And so that's why I believe that's possible, something they did for reinforcing the bumper. I'm probably going to ditch them if they're not bumper mounts, because I don't really need them. And I plan on going back with the correct bumper for this front bumper. I'm believing, at least in my opinion, that if this was used as a tow truck or built into a tow truck, that if there was ever a rear bumper, it's gone now. I like what they did here for a ball hitch, except for this piece of angle iron, which we are going to lose, and I'm going to make a proper piece of channel that bolts into here, made like the side channels, so it looks more proper. And then instead of welding on the bottom, I'm going to weld it to up above in here to the channel on it, because I want it to look more stock and more correct. And yes, I'm going to bang this out, and I have some ideas for fixing spots on the frame that may look bad, but I have ideas for that I think will work, and it'll be reinforced, and it'll still be road legal. I don't know if I'm going to keep these I-beams on here that I think somebody put on, or cut them off, because I want to build a homemade flat stake bed that I can use for hauling like grain and different things for my farm that I'm starting. But I don't know if I want those as my bottom supports, or if I'm just going to go back to like say some wood, because I believe at one time this would have either had a flat bed, I would assume, before the wrecker was put on, or the crane was put on, tow crane. It was a tow crane, one of those manual old school ones, but before that it may have had like some sort of long flat bed or a grain bed on it. I'm assuming at one point this may have been a grain truck beforehand. And the reason that leads me to believe that this was built into a tow truck or wrecker, whatever you want to call it, because of this, I don't believe would have been stock. And I would think if it was stock as a tow truck, it would have been slightly more narrow. And it also probably, from the factory, they wouldn't have used I-beams, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think they would have used something that would have made looked more logistically like the actual chassis itself, so it would blend in with it. And it's from the factory. They want it to look good when they're selling it, so they're building it not only to be functional, but also to look good. And not saying the I-beams don't work, but again, this is not something you would typically see on a perfect finished factory build. So that's why I'm debating whether I'm going to keep those on or slice them off. But I may keep them on and use them anyways, because they're already there. But I do want to build a homemade flatbed for this, which you will see when I do that. It's going to be as long from just a little bit of space in the back, like a lot of these older ones had, between here and here, all the way back. And like I said, I'm going to lose this right here and this angle channel and build it the right way in here when I mount this. And I may even extend this out a little bit, just because the flatbed may come all the way to the end. So I may take that off, cut it, and make a longer one. So, but I do like the concept they had, so this will be interesting. Anyways, YouTube folks, you can see the bottom needs work too, the fenders. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a quick one, and look for updates on Maggie sooner than this. And in between Maggie and this, look for updates on this, but mainly it's going to be Maggie and this. And this is not going to sit in the spot it's in permanently. It's going to go down and get stored in my woods. It's just the flatbed guy who delivered it on his flatbed. this was the best place to park it, but it will eventually, once I get the rear wheels or rear hubs freed up, I will be moving it down in my backwoods. And as far as this dangling, I just need to cut a screw so I can get that off of there, because one of the screws is stuck. But I think I can salvage this, at least I think. So that's what I'm going to work on and try to fix that, because I took that off most of the way, but one of the screws was being stubborn. So we're going to work on that. And yeah, it's a labor of love, but this one will be cool when it's done. I'm not doing it in the stereotypical restoration. So for those of you who comment and say, I wouldn't bother with that driver's side door the way it is, I'm only doing that because this is going to be my learning curve thing. And yes, I could go out and get a better set of doors. Yes, I could do a lot of things different on this. Yes, I could have just scrapped the caddy glide on this altogether, but just to clarify, that's... So, for all of you who say it, I do realize that this is one of the worst examples of one of these trucks. There's better ones out there that are in better shape and probably more better of a restoration than this one. And this one technically should be just slabbed for parts because of all the things. And it's a massive undertaking, but that's why I'm doing it. Because I want to get those skills under my belt, like I said, for Maggie. So, and I'll be using this on my farm. It'll be a farm truck with a flatbed. Homemade flatbed, but it'll be a flatbed nonetheless. At least for now. Maybe someday if I can get a flatbed made. But if I get real good welding skills, I may make the flatbed frame out of metal. Put it on here and then put wood inside it. Like a lot of them were back in the day. But I'm debating if I'm just going to do all wood structure for the flatbed. But you'll see it when it's done. And like I said, it'll have removable stake bed sides. And fold open doors in the back with latches. And latches to hold all the sides together so they stay sturdy. Or like removable bolts, but so I can turn it into a flatbed when I don't want to use it for that. If ever. I also may, but I'm debating, make another set of sides that'll be anchored perfectly, because there'll be a backer thing on here that, like some of the really earlier trucks where it kind of curved down a little bit, and I think Ford did that on some of their Model A's, that kind of curved down look. I may make a second set just like that, even though it's not stock necessarily to this truck probably. So I could still have sides and have curved down, but I highly doubt I'll get that intricate and have two sets of sides. Just putting it out there. But anyways, YouTube folks, I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. All of those, you know the drill. And as always, keep your heads up, stay strong, all that kind of jazz. And feature the interior before I leave, because I didn't really show that. Check out the factory radio. I'm hoping I can find somebody who knows enough to rebuild those. I don't know a lot about car radios. I may dig into it myself because it could be a learning for me to figure out how to repair car radios, but I'm not that diverse in them. I know there's a guy I watch on YouTube who's messed with them before, and he'll sometimes take viewers' stuff if they pay for the shipping both ways, and mess with it just to see if he can revive it for them and then give it back to him as kind of a fun thing. But he doesn't necessarily do full-on restorations, because then I think he would want also cash on top of the restoration, which is totally understandable, because I get that. You would if you're doing it as a business, because you wouldn't make any money if you didn't. But I'm hoping to find somebody local maybe that would be able to, that's into appliances, that could possibly revive that for me. Because it would be cool to get that factory radio working again, just for the coolness factor. But I don't even know what condition it is. You have to remember the